There is a truth so deep, so old, and so ignored that if God's people really understood, He would never live as He does today. A truth that is not hidden but has been forgotten. A spiritual division within the human being that defines destiny, war, temptation, identity, salvation, and eternity. And yet few can explain it. Even fewer can discern. And almost no one lives up to it. Most people think they know themselves. He thinks he knows what he feels. He thinks he understands what he thinks. He thinks he controls his choices. But the truth is that within each person there is an invisible, silent, and daily battle that determines the course of life. And this battle doesn't just happen in the heart, not just in the mind, and not just in the body. It happens between three dimensions that God has placed within the human being: spirit, soul, and body. And each of these three parts speaks. Each of these three parties desires. Each of these three parties tries to command you. But only one of them has eternal authority. Only one of them connects you to God. Only one of them defines who you really are. And the most impressive thing is that this truth is not difficult. It is not theological to the point of being inaccessible. It is not a secret code hidden in Scripture. It has been before us since Genesis. The Word has always made it clear. But religion has complicated things. The world has gone astray, and the enemy has taken the opportunity to confuse. Because while you don't understand who you are on the inside, you never understand why you struggle so much on the outside. As long as you do not discern what the soul is, you continue to be hostage to feelings. As long as you do not discern what the body is, you remain a slave to habits and impulses. As long as you do not discern what spirit is, you continue to live without hearing the voice that calls you. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. Because Satan knows this structure better than you do. He knows how to confuse your soul. He knows how to imprison his body. And he knows how to silence his spirit. Because he missed the most important part, the one that connects you to the living God. And that's the revelation that no one preaches. You're not just meat. You are not just emotion. You are not just mind. You are not just behavior. You are a three-dimensional construct made by the Creator himself, prepared to live between two realms and to decide between them. And that is why understanding spirit, soul, and body is not theology. It's survival. Those who do not understand this truth are always stumbling. Who understands? It keeps winning, and it all starts here, in the first dimension, in the place where God speaks, where the sky touches, where the eternal dwells, the Spirit. It all starts in the Spirit. Before the soul feels it, before the body reacts, before the mind interprets, before the emotion trembled, the first territory of the human being, it is the Spirit. And that's precisely why this is the least understood part of life. Because the Spirit does not make noise. He doesn't scream. It is not required. It is not imposed. He does not manifest as the soul. It does not reveal itself as the body. He works in silence, but it is in the Spirit that God speaks. The Bible says that the Spirit of God bears witness with our spirit. That simple sentence changes everything. Because it means that God does not communicate with your emotion or with your flesh or with your intellect. He speaks to what is eternal within you. With that which is more comes not that which was born from the breath of Eli.com, but that which carries the identity that does not unravel. The Spirit is the place where you discern, where you understand what the eyes don't see, where you realize what the natural world can't translate. It is there that heaven touches earth. It is there that the invisible becomes clear. It is there that God whispers things that the soul would never understand on its own. And that is precisely why the enemy holds back the human spirit so much. He doesn't want your flesh. He doesn't want your feelings. He wants to shut up that which connects you to the Creator, because Satan has lost it forever. He fell into the spirit, and when a spirit falls, there is no return. But you know. Your spirit can be renewed. It can be restored. It can be regenerated. It can be filled with the life of God. That is why Jesus said, "It is necessary to be born again." He did not say, "It is necessary to feel better." He didn't say, "We need to change behavior." He did not say, "It is necessary to control your emotions." He said to be born because the new birth is spiritual, not emotional. It's deep, not shallow. It is definitive, not momentary. That's where everything changes. The meat remains weak, the soul remains sensitive, but the spirit receives life. And when the spirit awakens, the mind begins to clear, the soul begins to be healed, and the body begins to obey. The spirit is the part that governs, the soul is the part that feels, the body is the part that executes. When the spirit sleeps, the soul rules. When the soul rules, the body falls. But when the spirit takes the place that God has given it, everything in life comes into play. And you know what's more impressive? The spirit is never confused. Who is confused is the soul. What is lost is the soul. Who gets hurt is the soul. The one who is wrong is the flesh. But the spirit, when it is alive, always knows the way. He always recognizes the voice of God. He always perceives deception. He always sees what the soul does not see. And so the devil's battle is not about feelings, nor about behaviors. It is about domination. He makes the soul cry out for the spirit to be silent. It makes the body's desire for the spirit weaken. He makes the emotional dominate for the spiritual to die. But today God is reminding you, inside of you, there is a part that Satan can never touch unless you deliver. A part that was born of the mouth of God. A part that can rise up now at this very moment. A part that can govern everything inside. And that's why he's calling you to wake up. If that word is waking you up, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell on the right, share that message and comment, "Lord, awaken my spirit to hear your voice." If the spirit is the place of life, the soul is the place of war. The soul feels everything. She records everything. It reminds you of what you want to forget. It revives what you have already forgiven. It bears marks that the body does not show. It carries memories that the spirit tries to heal. And that is exactly why the soul is the most vulnerable field of the human being. The soul is the seat of feelings, thoughts, wills, and memories. It is in it that you cry, smile, fear, dream, fall in love, get frustrated, get angry, get up and break down. And unlike the spirit, the soul is not stable. It oscillates, it changes. It is affected by time, by words, by relationships, by pain, by the past, and by traumas. And it is precisely in this oscillation that the spiritual battle takes place. Many people think that spiritual warfare is done in the invisible world, with demons appearing, with war in heaven, and with forces fighting in the air. But the devil's greatest battle is not against his body, nor against his spirit. It is against your soul, because it is the soul that decides the course of life. The devil does not need to destroy someone spiritually. He only needs to wound the soul. Because a wounded soul closes the spirit. A wounded soul silences faith. A wounded soul creates walls where there should be a bridge. And how does he do it? With words, rejections, comparisons, humiliations, needs, fears, guilt, anxiety, distorted memories, and untreated traumas. The enemy knows the wounds you try to hide, and he knows exactly where to play. The soul always tries to take control because it is the part that feels the fastest. One word knocks you down in seconds. A look destabilizes you. A silence hurts you. A memory takes you off your feet. The body does not react like this. The spirit does not react like this. Only the soul. That is why Jesus said, "Whoever wants to come after me, let him deny himself." To deny oneself is not to deny one's body, nor the spirit. It is denying the soul. Deny the will, the ego, the control, the defense, the pride, the impulse, and the fear. The soul wants to decide everything, but the soul does not know the way. She feels that way, and feelings change. The soul wants to love but is afraid of losing. The soul wants to trust but carries memories. The soul wants to change, but it keeps wounds. The soul wants to obey but is frightened by renunciation. And this is where the revelation deepens. The soul is the bridge between the body and the spirit. She receives impulses from both, but decides who to obey. When the spirit is strong, the soul finds peace. When the body dominates, the soul is confused. When the soul rules, life becomes chaotic. That's why the Bible speaks so often about healing the soul, renewing the mind, and guarding the heart. Because the spirit does not need to be healed, it needs to be awakened. The body doesn't need to be convinced, it needs to be disciplined. Who needs healing? The soul. The soul can be molded, treated, and transformed. It can be renewed day after day. It can be restored, cleaned, and healed. She can get out of an abyss and find life again. But none of this happens if the spirit does not rule. The soul is an ocean. The spirit is the rudder. The body is the boat. If the rudder sleeps, the ocean drowns you. The soul is the place of the I. The spirit is the place of God. And when the soul screams louder than the spirit, the body obeys chaos. But when the spirit takes over, the soul finds rest. And that's why understanding the soul is so important, because it decides more about your life than any external situation. The war was never outside. The war has always been inside. And now, with the spirit and soul revealed, the time has come to understand the third part, the one that many despise, but that God used as an escape valve from sin. The body. The body. This part of us is so present, so visible, so commented on, and so judged, and paradoxically so misunderstood. For many, the body is just flesh. For others, it is a problem. For some, it's weakness. But in fact, the body is much more than that. The body is the stage where the internal war manifests itself. It is the instrument through which the soul expresses itself and the spirit moves. It is the door through which both heaven and hell try to act. When God formed man from the dust of the ground, he knew exactly what he was doing. Creating a mortal body was no accident. It was mercy. It was a divine strategy. Because the body, unlike the spirit, can die. And that changes everything. Fallen angels have sinned in the spirit, and the spirit does not die. Therefore, their sin is eternal. We don't. The body protects us from becoming eternal in sin. Death ends the cycle of corruption in the flesh. It is like an outlet that prevents the fall from becoming permanent. The body, for God, was never a problem to be destroyed. It was a servant, a temporary, sensitive, vulnerable, but functional servant. It carries marks, yes. He does feel pain. It wears out, yes. But it also allows you to have the opportunity to change, to fight, to regret, to get up, to start over. If the human being were only spirit, any fall would be eternal. If it were just soul, any wound would be definitive. But God, in His goodness, gave you a mortal body, so that death would put an end to what was not born of God, and make way for what was born of the Spirit. But it is also through the body that war manifests itself. The body feels what the soul tells it. If the soul is wounded, the body responds with anxiety, tension, psychic illnesses, and destructive behaviors. If the soul is lost, the body is in addictions, impulses, and compulsions. If the soul is dominated by the flesh, the body becomes hostage to immediacy. And that is exactly why the Bible says that the flesh militates against the spirit. The flesh, not the body. Flesh is fallen nature. It is impulse without filter. It is desire without limit, and it is will without blockage. The body itself is not sinful. What is sinful is the one who controls it. When the body dominates, it charges fast and destroys fast. When the soul dominates, it feels too much and suffers too much. But when the Spirit rules, the body finds order, purpose, and discipline. The body responds to the government it receives. If the soul is on the throne, the body is tired, restless, and unstable. If the Spirit is on the throne, the body finds peace, direction, and balance. That's why fasting is so powerful, not because God needs your physical sacrifice, but because the body understands that it is not in control. Fasting silences the flesh, strengthens the spirit, and calms the soul. It is an internal realignment. The body bows when the spirit rises. The body is also a temple. So many people repeat this, but few people understand. Being a temple does not mean being perfect. It means being inhabited. The body is not a temple because it is beautiful, strong, or healthy. It is a temple because it carries presence, and presence governs behavior. The body expresses who is dominating inside. If it is fear, it trembles. If it is anger, it explodes. If it is spirit, it obeys. The body is earthly, the soul is human, the spirit is eternal. And when these three parts are aligned, a subdued body, a healed soul, a living spirit, the human being becomes what God dreamed of, a whole, functional, full creation governed by heaven. But until this happens, the body will continue to be the battlefield where the spirit fights for its life and the soul fights for its desires. And that is exactly why we now need to understand the war between these three parties. Because without discerning this battle, you continue to think that you are fighting against people, circumstances, when in fact you are fighting yourself. There is a war going on inside you right now. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter your age, your past, or your spiritual maturity. If you breathe, this war is active. If you feel it, this war touches you. If you think about it, this war influences you. If you live, this war rules you. And this war does not happen in the outside world. It does not begin in circumstances. It is not born in relationships. It doesn't come from the people around you. The real war always starts within. Enter the spirit that wants God, the soul that wants to feel. It is the body that wants pleasure. Each of these three speaks a different language. Each of these three tries to pull you to one side. And what you call confusion, discouragement, oscillation, emotional instability, lack of focus, and weakness. In fact, it's just a reflection of this internal war. The spirit is the part that receives direction. The soul is the part that reacts. The body is the part that responds. Imagine this as three forces trying to steer the same boat. If each one pulls to one side, the boat does not move forward. It spins in circles. And this is exactly what happens to thousands of Christians who have never understood this battle. The Spirit says, "Seek God." The soul says, "I am tired." The body says, "I want distraction." The spirit says, forgive. The soul says, it still hurts. The body says, run away. The spirit says, trust. The soul says, what if it goes wrong? The body says, protect yourself. The spirit says, holiness. The soul says, but I feel. The body says, but I want to. And the question that defines everything is, who rules whom? If the body rules, you live by impulses. If the soul rules, you live by emotions. If the spirit rules, you live by faith. And that's the key. Who governs determines his destiny. The soul is strong because it feels. Feeling is powerful. It convinces, intimidates, and dominates. The soul makes you believe that everything you feel is true. But feeling is not true. It is reaction. The battery is strong because it charges fast. He wants pleasure, reward, and immediate satisfaction. It is guided by urgencies, not purpose. He wants it now, even if the now costs tomorrow. The spirit is different. He doesn't scream. He does not demand it. He doesn't press. He just guides. He just points it out. He just reveals. And that is why so many people ignore it, because the spirit speaks softly while the world speaks loudly. The greatest spiritual trap is to live guided by the soul, thinking that it is the spirit, crying, thinking it's God, having emotional peace, thinking it's spiritual direction, feeling goosebumps, thinking it's a revelation, confusing emotion with discernment. And what does the devil do? He does not need to destroy the spirit. He only needs to distract the soul. He knows that if he hurts his soul, his spirit is stifled. If it hurts the soul, the person prays less. If it hurts the soul, the person hides. If it hurts the soul, the person doubts. If it hurts the soul, the person no longer hears. And when the spirit stops ruling, the body takes over. And when the body takes over, sin finds an open door. Therefore, God does not call you to eliminate the body nor to annul the soul. He calls you to put everything in its place. The body as a servant, the soul as an emotional compass, the spirit as a commander. When the spirit rules, the soul is healed and the body is disciplined. When the soul rules, the spirit is silenced and the body is dragged. When the body rules, everything collapses. That is why the Apostle Paul said, I subdue my body. Because if he does not subdue, he is dominated. And that is why Jesus said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. He did not say how the spirit feels. He said the spirit is ready, ready to obey, ready to listen, and ready to discern. The conflict only ends when order is established, spirit on the throne, soul at feet, and body obeying. And now that you understand this war, it's time to see the whole picture, the time to unite the three parts and understand the revelation that transforms lives. At the end of it all, when silence takes over the soul and life puts each part in its proper place, only one question remains. Who is ruling you? It is not a religious question. It is not a philosophical question. It's a question of war, of survival, of eternity. Because now that you understand the spirit, the soul, and the body, you can see something that millions still do not realize. There is no neutrality within a human being. Either the spirit rules, or the soul dominates, or the body drags. And each of these three directions builds a different destiny. The body takes you to the immediate. The soul takes you to the unstable. The spirit takes you to the eternal. The body wants pleasure. The soul wants to feel. The spirit wants God. And this war was never about external forces. It was never about circumstances. It was never about what they did to you. It's always been about what's running you from the inside. That's why so many people feel broken, lost, unfocused, and directionless. That's why so many people start and don't finish. That is why feelings become prisons, habits become addictions, and memories become currents. Because without spirit in control, the soul takes over, and the soul never knows where to go. But there is good news, a news so powerful that even hell trembles when someone understands it. You can start over, right now, as is, because God has given you something that the fallen angels lost forever, the chance to be reborn. Their spirits have fallen, and spirits do not die. Soon they fell eternally. But yours, even wounded, even weak, even silenced, can still be renewed. It can still be recreated. It can still be filled with God's presence. Because the new birth does not happen in the flesh. It doesn't happen in the soul. It happens in the spirit. That's where the light comes in. It is there that life springs up. It is there that God's voice echoes. It is there that you start to hear what you do not hear with your ears, but with eternity. And when the Spirit awakens, everything begins to change. The soul begins to be healed, the body begins to be disciplined, the mind finds rest, the heart finds direction, and the whole life begins to get on track. It's not magic, it is spiritual order. Inner chaos only exists when the spirit is out of place. And God is calling you today, calling you to rearrange the world within you, to put each part where it should be, to allow heaven to rule your inside, to experience the kind of life that only exists when the divine order takes the throne of your being. The spirit is the place of God. The soul is the place of the human. The body is the place of expression. And when the spirit takes over what is rightfully theirs, the soul breathes, the body obeys, and life flourishes. But none of this happens without a decision, without a yes, without sincere surrender, without a moment where you look inside and say, God, take over what I've lost. And that moment can be now. If this message spoke to you, share it so that others can also wake up. He subscribes to the channel, activates the bell on the right, and comments, Lord, govern my spirit, heal my soul, and sanctify my body. Because that's the truth that no one preached, the truth that transforms everything, and the truth that can change your eternity.